What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Weekly Roundup. Don't touch your dials. Your eyes do not deceive you. Yes, it is your boy, Ritz, from In This Very Ring. I'm here with the man himself, Stephen Reichel. Joining us today is former Rams defensiveman and Florida State. Damn it, I totally messed up my intro. We got Tommy Polly down here.
You're on the booze early, man.
Big show lined up for today. As always, the Leaky Roundup is brought to you by Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Check him out on the web at specializedphysicaltherapy.com or his 3 locations at Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. Also, Michael Ambrose and Ambuck Services. Give them a call at 856-879-5530. The gutter and deck experts of South Jersey. Play QB54, the best tailgating game in the business, brings us our poll question for today. Will Howie make a significant move by the trade deadline? Agree, disagree? Ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the chat. Steve, I throw it to you.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely don't believe that Howie Roseman has it in him to make a significant move to help this team. I wouldn't be surprised if they're more sellers because of where they are in the cap situation. I know we're probably, as bad as this division is, going to win this division and be in the playoffs, however weird of a 2020 this is. But, I don't think he's going to make a significant move. Like I said, I won't be surprised if he's a seller. What do you say, Tommy? You think Howie Roseman has it in him to make a move to improve this team? You know, where some deficiencies are, maybe linebacker, safety, wide receiver. What do you think?
Boy, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of things you just said. You just named about 5 positions. I'm settling, trying to get some draft picks. Obviously, I haven't been hitting on my guys that I need to, so. Yeah, I'm probably going to be a seller, and this season probably going to be a wash so I can stop more talent. I mean, the linebackers, like you said, not playing that well, and the secondary, I mean, it speaks for itself. So, the D-line is solid. I mean, they got some players and some pieces there that you can, obviously leverage. But, I'm a seller. This season, that whole division is terrible. And the crazy thing, they still might make the playoff, but I would.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of I'm with you, but also the fan in us also, we want to see this team compete. We want to see them kind of get some more experience in the playoffs with these young guys, especially for Carson Wentz. He was robbed of it 2 different times when they made it to the playoffs. A lot of people are hard on him. They've been hard on him this week. They're still hard on him after that Thursday night win. Tommy, what are your thoughts on Carson? You think that he can kind of get some of these monkeys off his back this season, or do you think he might have to start anew next year?
I mean, no. How much he getting paid?
Yeah, man.
Hey, you got to go out there and fight through this, man. That's the guy. I mean, they paid you all the money first round, then they read you up again. Y'all got a great fan base. I mean, y'all crazy. Y'all a little crazy. Y'all fanatics. But at least he owed that to y'all to go out there and give it all he got, considering that, y'all behind him as the fans, and then they paid him a lot of money as an organization. I mean, he just owed to go out there and give his best shot. A lot of I watched the Rams game. He was just missing on throws. I mean, it wasn't really nothing that the Rams did to beat him. I mean, they won the game, but a lot of that was Wentz just missing throws on big occasions.
You throw that elite quarterback around, but he's not one of those ones. He's not Captain Precision. He's Mr. Playmaker. He's a gunslinger. He's not going to beat you with his mechanics. He's going to beat you with big plays with his arm. That's always who he's going to be. And I think it's kind of unfair to try to put that guy in that peg. He's always going to be the guy that's going to throw jump balls instead of throwing it away. That's who he's going to be. He's going to hurt you, but he's also going to give you big plays.
Yeah, but then when you got that defense that's not as tight as need to be, if you had that old school Brian Dawkins defense where you can rely on, if you turn the ball over, they can play good defense. I mean, your defense struggling as well. So you pick them a bad field.
Linebackers on that team.
I mean, that's part of the,
I mean,
you let a Florida State guy go last year.
Part of draft and that's part of personnel. We can sit there and have arguments about that all day, at least about this Philadelphia Eagles team. But I mean, it's definitely been a trying times in the city. We just watched the Los Angeles Lakers come home with a championship, and it's starting to look like the Dodgers are about to start to clean one up too, because now they're up 2-1 on the Rays. So it's going to be a tough time in the city if another Los Angeles team comes home with a championship.
I mean, you're in the fight though. I mean, you got players. I mean, Doc just came over to the Sixers. Philly, they still in it. I mean, the Eagles, they still in it. I mean, what place they in? Second, they're second.
What, a half game in first because they're kind of
half a game. So you still in first, so it ain't all bad. I mean, if I'm the coach, that's what I'm preaching.
Well, I mean, the Eagles kind of got their hands. Everything's up to them. We play Dallas in 8-9 days, whatever it is, and we have the Giants again the following week. So you take care of those division games and you upset a few teams, you could turn it around.
I mean, you can, but realistically, do you want to for the future of your organization? I mean, of course, they say that everybody want to make the playoffs every year, but some years are a wash. This year is a prime. It's a good year to tank it. It's 2020. You can blame it on 2020.
Yep.
Now, what about your boys? Your boys came in here, gave us a good thumping, like you said. Carson missed some things that probably would have made it a lot better game, but you guys got Nick Foles and the Chicago Bears are starting to look pretty good too. What do you think about that game?
Man, that's gonna be a tough game. The Bears playing lights out on defense. Khalil Mack is unbelievable, great player. And then they got a D lineman that's great. So it should be a good matchup. They play the cover 2 that's going to kind of keep everything bottled up. And I think it's going to be a tight game. I mean, I got the Rams winning because it's at home, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think the defense is going to have to make some plays for them to get the win. They're playing all right. I think McVay's calling. I mean, he calls a great game. This guy to run the ball this week against that cover 2. Should be a close game, but I like the Rams to edge them out. But it should be a good one.
Yeah, I think it's a really good one. It's one of those things where betting wise, it's one of those ones I might stay away from.
Yeah,
but
I don't want too much.
It's one of ththose ones as a fan, what time's that again? I got tuned into that game because both of these teams are kind of making pushes. A lot of people kind of felt like the Rams were kind of pushing for that wild card at the beginning of the year. Now it's starting to look like they're going to probably get that division title. So I don't know, man.
I don't know. The Seahawks looking good. Seahawks 5-0. So, the Bears still got Nick Foles. So I don't know. Nick will fool you now. He look good. I mean, y'all know how he is. He's one of them relievers.
But he's the king of coming off the bench. He's a
reliever.
I think Nagy had something in mind this season when he started off Mitchell Trubisky, because every time Nick Foles comes in that backup role, he shines in a way like just no one really cannot put their finger on it. It's like, how does he do that? When he can't do it
anytime you ain't, when you the starter, everybody know you the starter. It's the game day book. It's the running out the tunnel as the starter. It's all week you preparing to be the starter. Sometime to get to you. And then the other team not preparing for you as well. What does Nick Foles like to do, don't like to do? They're preparing for the other guy. So he can come in under the radar. I mean, he got a good enough talent. I just think he's not great where people kind of key on his deficiencies and things like that. I think they can take advantage of him.
Yeah, man. It's big man Tom down there is saying appreciate for your time this afternoon. Sorry couldn't make it in. He's running around doing all kinds of things right now. So appreciate you tuning in, Tom. Oh man, but it's one thing that's been crazy about this season. We're gonna see extra wild cards on top of it. COVID's been kind of a weird thing, just not just for sports, just in life in general. Like I'm sure it's been affecting you in your daily life on top of just what it does for us and as what we do is when we're looking at sports. So what are your kind of thoughts on how's it affecting you, and what do you think is going to happen moving forward into the playoffs? Do you think they may bubble these teams and kind of go from site to site, what we've seen with some of these other sports?
I probably would, but you better be safe than sorry. So I mean, that's why I do our bubble. And once you get to a point, so you can guarantee the games. I mean, you hate to be in a playoff game and the game get canceled, right? For everybody, for the fans, for the teams. I mean, nobody want to see that, right? You know, the NBA, but it's a fine line. You know, you got mental health issues that, you know, the NBA guy said that seclusion kind of got to him a little bit. So I mean, it's a little dicey game, but I think at the end of the day they're going to do the bubble and tough it out. But you know, it's still some things there. But as far as me, you know, I coach high school football, so it's been a roller coaster. You know, we ain't gonna play, we're gonna play, we're not gonna play, we're gonna play, and then we're playing a reduced season. Actually, we just played last night. It was a thriller. We won 36-35.
Hey, there you go.
Last minute. That's another reason why I'm in morning. I gave up 35 points on defense. Oh my God, tackling is terrible. It ain't just it's tackling is everywhere. I think that's another thing COVID done affected. You know, you didn't get the off-season OTA. So as us as a high school,
little fundamentals break down, right, Tommy?
Right. So you need that whole process. You need the off-season process to carry on. Like when you win a championship, usually the season is won in the off-season, right? You got
everyone was like, "Oh, why does everyone look so?" I'm like, "Why does Carson look?" I'm like, "He's always looks terrible in preseason. What are you guys talking about? He looks over like he looks all over the place." So now we're starting to get into where he would finally start getting into the regular season type. If you're looking at it game wise.
Right. I mean, that's you sound like a real Philly fan with that one, but
I'm not making excuses for the man.
You got all the confidence in the world. I hear you.
But at the same time, like, yeah, there's some people they don't need it. You know how it is. Some players they really don't need that extra time, that extra training, the OT days. There's some guys that are special. They can just do it like that. Some guys they need.
There's not too many guys. All the guys I done played with 10, 12 Hall of Famers, and it's only one way. They're off season. Them guys are off season prepare like it's during the season. You know, the Deons, the Ray Lewises, the Nez Williams, the Isaac Bruce, all those guys train like unbelievable. Torrey Holt, I mean, them guys is but I mean, and then when they roll into the season, you understand why they had success. They didn't kill themselves off season. You need that process, and that's why you've seen a lot of injuries, the knee injuries, the pull hamstrings. Those are all soft tissues, or your muscles not quite strong enough because it's not really happening at the lower level. At the pro level, man, every play is like the Super Bowl. Like, you know, if you don't play every play like it's your last or it could be your last, you're probably gonna lose that snap because everybody's talented. So when you're playing that hard, every muscle got to fire right and everything. If it don't, you're going to probably tear your knee up or pull your hammy. And that's what you're seeing live right now. And miss tackles because you ain't got them fits right in the offseason.
Hey, man, I listen. I'm definitely on you with that one, yeah, especially with that. And it's definitely kind of a weird situation you're in. Like you said, you know, you've have everything turned upside down because you're a high school coach. And how do you look at some of these kids and like, hey, like this is just what it's going to be. You guys are going to have to ride it out. And, you know, you're going to have some kids who are kind of may not have that mental toughness, that confidence. How are you sitting there telling some of these kids to push through it and get ready for, you know, either the next season or even moving on to college? Like how does that conversation come about for you?
For me, it's only we only can control what we can control, right? So whatever the rules bring us, can we play? Don't play. We just gotta roll with it because if we try to bog down and we can't play or we're gonna play and all that, we just gotta keep mindset that we're gonna move forward. I think kids are adapt. You know, they can adapt more than we think. We just tell them the truth. Like a lot of times, the adults don't really kind of tell them the truth. They kind of flim-flam with them. That's where the miscommunication coming at. We just try to be transparent with the kids as much as possible. You know, some things we can't, but as much as possible, then the kid have a better understanding. They can adapt their mind thinking. But you know, it's all up on us as an adult.
Yeah, man. It's I'm with you there, man. When you BS your kids, you create more problems than you ever thought they were going to be by not telling them.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna find out anyway.
5-year-old teenagers.
Yeah, because you got to make it make sense. When it don't make sense, then you know they're gonna find out the right thing eventually.
Listen, man, you keep it 100 from the gate. You'll be better off. It don't matter. Like I said, it don't matter if we're talking about the little ones. It don't matter if we're talking about grown ones.
Right.
The way it is, man.
That's true.
Now, I see you got some other projects going on. What's that behind you?
Oh, this is my Players Talk Live. This is my podcast. What I do with Eric King, former NFL player, played 6-7 years in the league, and Chad Allen, who's a student head of student development over there at Morgan State, also help other guys in the league play college football, things that. Well, we help families try to maximize their potential, right? So you got a student athlete that need resources or information or point in the right direction. That's what we try to give on the podcast. So we bring different players on. We bring different experts in different fields to come on and talk. And then we can just talk about our experiences of going through the whole process of trying to, go from high school to college to the professionals. All those things, all those resources that we have, we just try to give out to these families out here who maybe not, the high school coach, or the college coach may not always be looking out for your best interest. So we just try to give you the stone cold facts for you, because everybody is different. Everything, something that meant for you might not be meant for you, even though within these rules right here that we're looking at. So we just try to give them the goods and the bad, the pros and the cons, and then they and their family make the right decision on whatever they do. But it's a lot of things that's transforming right now with the name, image, and likeness. What's going on with the NCAA, where kids gonna start making money off their likeness. You got esports is rapidly growing, where kids can participate in. So it's a lot of things changing, where parents need information, and if you need that, just come to Players Talk Live, and you'll hear a little bit of that.
And you got to really think how things changed over the last, since you've been a player, just how information is exchanged, just how you guys can be able to kind of give this information to other people. Like, you have these outlets, these platforms that were non-existent before, not to the level that it is now. So your reach is so much more now than it probably was, 10, 15 years ago, especially because of, social media and, podcasts, etc. So it's definitely cool to kind of see players getting together, giving back, and also informing these young athletes on kind of giving them the information of what they need and letting them inform whatever decisions they want to do moving forward. I mean,
that's what we try to do, because a lot of times they get misinformation from guys who ain't even been through the process. It's just amazing how you learn to go through the process from a guy that just, he played in high school and then that was it. I mean, not saying nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm glad they're showing interest, but at a certain point, you got to have the experts, So I feel I've been through the whole process at a high level. I know a little bit now. I'm coaching, put a lot of players in college. Some guys playing in the professionals right now. So, I mean, what better guy to pick his brain and get the information that you need? And I ain't looking for nothing in return from him.
Man, sometimes that knowledge is worth more than you think, my friend.
Oh yeah, I know. So that's why I just keep on giving it out.
Yeah, man. People, we need more people like you in this world like that, because some people they just get closed off because of some of the nastiness in this world. So it's really good to kind of see that from doesn't matter if we see it from the biggest superstars in the world or guys like you maybe not have the biggest name in the world where if I say to your name somebody here in Philadelphia, like, hey, who's that?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter as long as you're giving information to people in your community and maybe they're talking to it makes a difference somewhere along the line. And at the end of the day, isn't that all that matters?
Yeah, that's all that matters, man. Like I said, I got a lot of information. I play with a lot of great coaches. Like I said, played at every level, at a high level. So for me, I got a lot of information to give you, and I want to give it to you. Why? Because I can't, once I die or once I'm just sitting around not doing anything, I got all this information I could have gave out. I feel like a waste. And, coming up through Baltimore.
Common misconceptions. What do you think one of the common misconceptions that player athletes have moving from either college or the pros or either high school to college?
No, that we don't give back. We don't give back to our community and all that good stuff. Because a lot of times we don't put it out there. We just give back. I mean, so many times I get kids clothes, money, computer. I mean, you name it, families and all that. But I don't advertise that. I just do it out of goodness of my heart and things like that. But I just think a lot of athletes feel like people think it's selfish
on social media, right? It's like those people who post the pay for and they have to post it on social media. You just can't. Yeah. You just can't be the good person at that. You have to get someone to pat you on the back from somewhere.
Well, they got to get the likes. So to each his own. To each his own.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not knocking it, but like sometimes like if you're doing it for that, then you're doing it for the wrong reason.
But I mean, that just kind of speaks to what kind of person you are, Tommy, as far as what you do. I mean, just taking a look and learning about you and different stuff like that, getting ready for this, you now giving back to your community in the way that you do. I mean, let's call it what it is. You're a national champion in 1999. You were drafted in second round in probably one of the more star-studded drafts of all time, at least in my lifetime, right? Of names I actually recognize. And now here you are coaching high school football, giving back to these kids and giving them the smart way and the right way to grow up in this world of sports. So it's a testament to who you are as an individual.
Oh yeah, man! You got to give them that information before they get there. We got a kid right now. He's amazing. Kevin Coleman, man, junior, 5-star receiver, probably one of the best receivers in the country. Got offered everywhere, man. It's probably one day you're going to hear about him, Alabama, I'm sure, Florida State, hopefully one of them big schools. But
make sure he ends up
here. It's amazing, man. So anytime I can show them the ropes, before they get there, give them the answer to the test already. So when they seeing it, they can, oh man, coach probably warned me or told me about that. So it's just giving that information and not letting them go off to school. And I had all this information. They go there and make a bad decision. Well, I could have just gave them that information. So, that's why I just try to do it and get back in that scenario.
Well, and that's how you should do it. So I do have to ask, right? I am not a die-hard sports fan. I'm a very, very casual sports fan. So I have to ask, draft day. You're drafted in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
What was that day like for you? Like being drafted, coming, 2 years off of coming, being national champion, everything like that. What was it like being drafted?
It was stressful. It's a long day, long process. Going through the whole combine, the draft process and things like that. So it was stressful today. I mean, you think you're gonna go first round, you hoping, you feel like you put in enough work and things like that. So the teams that saying they're gonna take it, they bypassing you. And hey man, I had a great goose bottle. I'm taking a shot after every team that say they're gonna take me a pass. Hey man, another shot. So but when you get drafted, it's like Christmas, So it was like kid at Christmas. You wake up and you're in a dream. You see all the toys right there, and you're like, yes, and you made it. So it was like a dream that I always had the dream to make it. It was like a dream, dream come true, as they say. It really is, and I'm thankful. But at the same time, I wanted to go first round. I still feel a little bad.
Well, yeah. So all right. I'm going to ask another question, right? You win the national championship in 1999. You're drafted in 2001. Looking back, which one were you more amped for in the moment?
Oh, of course, the national. It felt that way. It felt like the national. I feel like the draft was a given. I had put enough work in. But, going into the game, you got played Michael Vick. I mean, you already know what that film room's looking like. He was out there running around on Ed Reed and them against Miami that year in Dan Morgan. So, we watching the film and like, man, this guy's going to be tough. And he was. So it was just winning the national. I was always brought up, team get the glory, If the team win, everybody get the glory. So team win, we still live on 20, 25 years from now.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Hey man, that's just like one of those things where with draft day, that is one of these things. There's some of these guys, it goes real easy for them. Like you said, yours is stressful. I mean, like you see different depictions of it. You know, some guys that have to go through it. They're thinking they're gonna get their name called maybe day two. That doesn't happen. Where you see these stories where guys who have chips on their shoulders while playing great later in their careers, or even the undrafted guys that we're seeing here in Philadelphia are starting to making names for themselves in other places. Boston Scott, etc.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I done played with a lot. I played with London Fletcher, man, who didn't get drafted at all, and wound up being 20-year Iron Man, so borderline Hall of Famer.
Who's probably one of your favorite guys that you play with? Regardless if we're talking college or pro. Like I said, you play with some great guys, some great coaches. Who are one of your favorite ones to either lace them up with or against?
Man, that's tough, man. I hope none of my guys listening, man. But for me, Ed Reed, I don't know, there's something special about him. Actually, I started liking him. It was my rookie year in the league, and he was still in college, and they was playing against Florida State, and he made a speech at halftime with his shoulders hanging out, and he was like, "I'm hurt, don't worry." And they came out and won the game, and he played great. I mean, after that, man, I started loving the guy. Didn't he get drafted first round, coming to Baltimore, where I'm from, and ball like he did, Hall of Fame type player, and then to play with him and see his work ethic and some of his mannerisms, how he make plays, how he really film study and anticipate plays and things like that. Yeah, that's one guy that, I mean, I done played with some great ones, but that's one guy who wasn't the biggest, wasn't the strongest, wasn't the fastest, but man, that man, he made plays everywhere. Yeah, so yeah, every. Yeah, it's a close second. Dion, Aeneas Williams, Ray Lords, London Fletcher, Isaac. I mean, I can go on and on. So
you just rattled off some pretty good names from that early 2000s era of the NFL, man, and that was some fun times.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the end of the real football. The real hit you in your mouth, no call, nothing. Get up, you knock your helmet off.
Well, they made a rule for Brian Dawkins because he was power slamming guys.
Hey, man, they made a rule for everybody now, man. So you can't hit them. It's flag football. I mean, I don't blame the missed tackling because you don't know how to. Do I hit him here? What? Shake you, and then you're gone. So.
Well, I mean, you go and look what happened to Sean. Doesn't call for the fair catch, gets the call, gets tackled, then looks like he's trying to get back up, and two more guys hit him. Winds up getting the fractured ankle. Motivates that team.
Yeah.
They want to win in the game.
Yeah, they want to win in the game. Giants helped y'all out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I'll take it.
You take anything how you can get it. All the games, three? I mean, that's what you're going in. Average game is a 3-point win. I mean, that's a tough league. So every win in the NFL is a big win.
For sure. But before we get ready to kind of wrap things up and let you get going on your afternoon, Tommy, we kind of throw the floor over to you. Anyone you would like to thank? Anyone you'd like to send some love? Let people know where to find you. Anything you're getting involved with, the floor is yours, my friend.
No, man, y'all can just find me on Players Talk Live where I'll be talking right in my mouth. I'm gonna start my picks next week. I'm gonna do my picks on the NFL picks, so you can start. Look out for that. Just follow me on Facebook at Tommy Polly, and all my Twitter, my Instagram, Coach Tommy Polly, T Polly, things like that. So yeah, just follow and like me, like my stuff. I'm getting my following and likes up, trying to. I ain't gonna do nothing crazy though.
Hey man, you don't gotta do nothing, man. Just be yourself and do what you're doing, man. It all comes around.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate y'all guys for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Always a pleasure that talk to some people from outside of our little bubble here and get some different perspectives. So really appreciate it.
See, I like y'all East Coast Philly fans. See, the first game I ever played on, I started in the NFL. We played Philly at the Rams played Philly at Philly. So we from Baltimore, right? So my family, we ain't scared of nothing. Man, they ain't want to wear my jersey to the game.
Oh, we're losing
enough like that. So, Philly fans, man, y'all fanatics.
We are.
We're crazy.
We're a little extra. We know we are.
think we're having a connection issue.
I think he's getting frozen on. We're getting ready to get off on him.
Much success.
Tommy, you still with us, sir?
Yeah, I can hear y'all, but I don't see y'all.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Any last words, my friend, since we're having the technical issues?
No, it's good, man. Peace.
All right, Tommy, thank you so much.
All right.
Great rest of your day.
All right, everyone. That was Mr. Tommy Polly. And I think Burt's in queue there.
He's not back here. I have nobody back here.
You said he's. Let me try again. I'll send it to him. I think he said I saw it on Facebook that he was in there.
Yeah, I see him in the chat, but I don't see him in the queue back here.
but that was pretty fun with Tom. Yeah,
that was cool. That was pretty cool.
You know, and that's always why I kind of reach out to some of these athletes that are outside of our range, because you never know what their perspective is on what's going with us. And obviously he's covering the Rams out there. So
and he's still involved. In sport. It may not be at the NFL level, but he's still involved in the sport. Being the defensive coordinator for that high school football team that he's a part of. And like I said, he was a national champion in the college level. He got drafted relatively very early on, like going 42nd overall. It's still pretty damn huge when you think about it. That's 10 spots out of the first round. That's still a huge, huge number. And for him to look at our team and go, and break our team down in the way that he kind of did, that's impressive.
Listen, I know we got a lot of stuff to fix here. And we'll see. I know he's on the let it go and just whatever happens. But I still think we can make something meaningful this season regardless. We already know that we have some problems that we have to fix, both roster wise, cap wise, etc.
Oh, absolutely. And Howie, we talked about at the start of the show as far as, is Howie going to do something major before the trade deadline? I think the question or the statement needs to be yes, he has to, because it's either that or it's his job at this point. You need to do something. Oh, here's Burt.
All right, there he is.
There you are.
Oh, baby, we got the video on the phone. What's up, Burt?
God damn, man.
You gotta love technology, right?
Man, I'm telling you, this was harder than well, I won't say, but
well, I mean, you could say we don't got a G rating over here, so
let me tell you something, man. When it comes to this kind of stuff, I am technically challenged, but I'm pushing.
That's okay. So it's Steve.
Pushing shit, and you're getting back to me, and I'm like, oh no, not again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Burt Watson.
What's up, baby?
What's going on?
Man, you know the drill. I'm trying to make it one day at a time, man.
So
first and foremost, Burt, I really appreciate it. We got the video working. We can see you. You got your grandma yay this time?
No. Cough medicine. Hell yeah, baby.
Well, we got a big one going on right now. What do you think of the fights for the UFC so far tonight?
Well, it's funny, man. My man, I got a YouTube channel, a YouTube page, and on that YouTube page, I put little anecdotes, and I just started the page about 2 weeks ago, so I'm trying to get everybody to go to it and subscribe and to view it. But I also have got little videos of things that, little, I call it OG chatter. things that I chatter about, that I talk about, things that I know and I've experienced. And I got one on there where I say to everybody, in boxing and MMA, whenever you step into that ring or that cage or that octagon, don't ever, 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 ever leave that shit to the judges. Because if you leave that shit to the judges, and you said I can say that word, they're going to make you cry. Well, I'm looking at that tonight, and I see my man Sam Alvey left that shit to the judges.
Withdraw.
He left that shit to the judges. There's one way not to have that happen. You don't leave it to the judges. And he did, and his opponent, obviously, so he got a draw. You know, I think that's the worst thing that can happen other than possibly losing a fight is to have a draw. There should never be a draw. You should never leave it to the judges. You know, judges are good. They've got work to do. They've got decisions to make. My history goes back to boxing. I started in boxing. And I started with Joe Frazier. And Joe Frazier's last fight was in 1981, if y'all can remember that year. And I think it was a draw against Jumbo Cummings. And from that point on was when I put that little thing in my head and that little cliche. And anybody that has worked with me since then, and that's all the MMA fighters, every one of them could tell you that Burt Watson always got up on a soapbox and preached about never, ever, ever leaving it to the judges.
No, I seen one of them. I remember when we were there for one of the cage furry ones when we were giving your speeches, man. And
hey, that's the worst thing. That and being late. I would almost rather you miss weight than be late for something. You know, but I saw, you know, the fights and the fighters. You know, I'm sitting and I'm watching, which I have watched for the past 20 years, because that's how long I've been in MMA, mixed martial arts, and combat sports. You know, I'm still even learning the words, but I've watched that sport evolved. I've watched the fighters evolve. And no disrespect to any of them, and I know they're going to get mad at me, but I saw them when they were fighting like this. Okay? I mean, they were good grapplers and they knew the wrestle, but you know, I'm a guy from a boxing world, so it was, you know, you had to know how to do that, and I saw them evolve from this to this. And the technical skill levels of these guys today is unbelievable.
well, I keep sitting there saying it. We're like, remember like when Chuck and Tito was kind of the faces of the UFC, and to where we are now. If you would put some of those guys now in their time and put them in some of the guys that are in the cage, it's not a fight. It's not a fight.
It's the evolution. I mean, even with the new guys that are in there right now, that are the faces or that are becoming the faces, you know, the skill level is different. It's a whole different kind of skill level, and they really know how to do what they call stand up is boxing. Their stand up is good. They know how to do it. They know how to put the combinations, but always in MMA, the end of a punch is a grab, you know, and this is just me personally, because the point is to either knock a person out, and you don't knock a person out with an open hand. You knock him out or you take him to the ground. So, you know, and that's a hell of a combination to have to put together. But I've seen the development of these guys and the skill level unbelievable. But then, if you go back to the fight with was it Brian Stan and
Wanderlei?
That was, I mean,
that was beautiful violence. Beautiful violence.
Hey,
Beautiful violence.
What can I say? Chuck and Tito, same thing. Like you said, beautiful violence.
And speaking of which, I got to ask you, Burt, did you just see that Khabib won and he is retired, 29 and 0?
He just announced his retirement.
He just announced his retirement.
Yep.
In the cage.
Well, you know what? I don't find that totally strange. How did he win?
I don't.
So we have him. It was a triangle choke.
Because I was gonna say, if it's over, he had to choke him out. He didn't.
Yeah.
That's a little too quick. But that is Khabib's forte. He sets you when he gets you down and gets behind you. You have got to tuck everything in, because anything he can grab onto, he's going to commit himself to a triangle. He's going to force his way into a triangle of somehow. Once he gets your back, he's got you. But I do know that the young man just lost his father.
Yeah, I kind of thought when his dad passed, I actually thought, because I know how strong that relationship was between them, I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have relinquished then and retired right then and there. But I know he kind of felt like he owed it to everyone to still have this last one.
Yes.
Something told me that this was it. This was it.
Well.
When the night he would do it in that fashion, and
that was traumatic. That was traumatic for him, losing his father, and that's something that takes a while, and that, I mean, he just lost his father, 5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago?
Yeah, something like that. It hasn't been that long.
So it's going to take a while. So for him to fight this fight tonight, he's 29 and 0, and to retire now. Did he leave his gloves in the middle of the ring?
Don't know.
I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen the glove in the ring. So hold on. I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen.
All right, I'm not trying to start no shit now, because I know when I say stuff, it gets picked up and run with it the wrong way.
Nah, I know how it is. When the guys lay that glove in there, you know what it is, Burt.
Yeah. You know what I did yesterday?
And that's what I see. I see a glove in there.
Okay. Well, I would think that he's going to need time to digest the death of his father, which meant a lot to him.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in a few years, but it was not something to the regiment he's doing now, where he can kind of like pick and choose where he's at. There's something that piques his interest. He might, but I don't know if it's a forever thing. I don't think it's a Connor thing where he'll be back in 6 months. I think it's something we won't see him for a few years.
Unless now.
George.
Okay.
George.
Okay.
You know where I was going with that.
Yeah. I think, but I will say this. I know that he's probably going to need a good 6 months or so to digest his life. He's 29 and 0, which is, that O means undefeated. 29 fights. He's at the top of his game. He probably got the money he wanted. He probably has the money that he needs. And, 6 months to a year to take off to digest all that, I could see that happening.
I could see a year could possibly be longer, because people also forget how much into his religion he is and everything like that. So when that stuff also coincides into that, so we'll have to see. I said I wouldn't be surprised to see them return at some point, but not anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, but I think he has to. He has to digest it. Yesterday, and I have like I was telling you about my YouTube page, I'm always pushing that. But they don't take
I'm
photos.
with you there.
I have a ton of photos, but I can't put them up on that page because they don't. I just found out they don't take pages. They should have told me that shit beforehand. They waited till after to tell me that. But I got a lot of photos of my journey with people. You know, I got a photo of me putting a belt, Joe Frazier's belt, around Nelson Mandela's waist, which when he got out of prison, which was probably one of the highlights of my career. And
I would probably say, like, I don't think there's much else that could top that, Burt. Like, you know, we just had Tommy Polly on. We were talking about guys that, you know, his favorite guys to play with and stuff like that. You've been involved in a lot of stuff, Burt. Boxing, big MMA, local MMA. Outside of that, what you just spoke of, what is the kind of the moment that really like means something to you?
well, I have so many of them that
So many sons and daughters, right?
oh, all of them. I'll tell you one that was really special to me, and may not make a lot of sense, but and I don't remember who Anderson Silva was fighting, but he had his two sons with him, and he had his sons, one under each arm, and he was walking to the cage. And the security and the building and the promotion didn't want his sons in the shot or walking the cage with him. That was at a time when that really was not a safe thing to do, because I can't tell you how many of these I've lost at a fight. Just walking out back downstairs.
Oh, his fans grabbing him, right?
So one I only got one back. Because I had time to go after that person. But so Anderson Silva standing backstage, and he's holding on to his two sons, and the security went up to him and said they had to go, and he said no. He was not going to let his two sons go, and that was going to become a problem because they were going to try not to let that happen. So
that would end it badly.
I walked over and I walked up to him and I said, "You give them to me, I'll make sure they're okay." And he gave me his two sons. Now I'm a father and a grandfather. And this man gave me his two sons to take care of. That was one of the highlights of that when you ask me highlights of things I won't forget.
Yeah, that's a unique moment, Burt. Like you can't. Not a lot of people would have known that outside of being in the UFC circle. That was allowing that to happen, and a fighter entrusting his children to you,
man.
Situation.
So I took them and took them to them seats and sat them down, and like a father, I looked at them. I didn't know whether they didn't speak great English, but they knew my face and my eyes what I meant, okay? And that I gave them that, don't you dare move, okay? And you know what? The look they gave me was a look that they understood what I had just said. So they sat there, and I didn't get too far away, but that was one of the moments that I won't forget. And another one that kind of comes to mind was my first reaction with Ronda Rousey. Because
first one in the UFC, or just her first time seeing her fight, period?
Her first time in the UFC. Because before the UFC, before her coming to the UFC took over WEC and Strikeforce.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw those guys but didn't work with them. But her first time coming to the UFC in the first fight, I think it was California, and I think it was Liz Carmouche.
Yeah,
I'm not real good with
157. It was California. It was Liz Carmouche. I remember that.
Okay, and the first time I got to meet her, because I'm sure you know that it was said that would never happen. women would never be in the UFC.
Yeah.
And there she was, very first time, first one. And I can tell you that I will never forget the first time working with her. I had a system which I created because when Dana White hired me, and the first thing I said to him was, "You pay me and respect me, you got me." But another thing that I wasn't going to say to him was, I wasn't too keen on somebody trying to tell me how to do my job. And he never, ever, ever, ever did. Always just gave it to me and got out of the way. And I had a system where when the fighters came in, I did two things. First thing I did was take them to the scale because I wanted to see how much that big ass was. Okay. Because I could see a guy walking towards me where just about where he was. So I put him on the scale.
Like, oh no, you need to go back on the treadmill, son.
Huh?
Yes, I don't know. You need to go back on the treadmill, son.
Hey, and the next thing was trying on their gloves. So it was meeting Rhonda, putting her on the scale. First time putting a woman on the scale. I'll never forget that one. And then taking her off and talking to her about getting into the cage and the way that she reacted and responded to me. You know, it was an automatic instant bond. And it was real. Because I know real people, man. I can feel real people. I can see real people because I'm a person. I look eye to eye at everybody, and I feel you. And it was real, and that was pretty surreal. The very first time in the first conversation that I had with her, and it was funny. And let me know when I'm talking too much here, baby, because I can talk.
Oh, Burt, I can listen to you talk for days, brother. Nah, but listen, that's why I love having conversations with you because like you never know what kind of story you're gonna want to pulling out of you, Burt.
Yeah. So the next day, I was getting the gloves together, and I had a extra small glove for the smaller guys, which I got for smaller guys. And that was something that they didn't have before, but I ordered, they got them, and they had them. So I went and I got the small gloves, the smallest we had. And I went to see Liz Carmouche just to try her gloves on. So I went to her room. Now, normally I have all the guys meet me in front of the scale to try the gloves on, but you know, this was the first time working with females, and you know, I kind of had to figure out what was the right way to do that because guys do different things when they're getting on that scale and all that other stuff, and I wanted to see how that worked. So I went to her room. So I took the small glove with me, and took Liz Carmouche's hand. She put it in my hand, and I put the small glove on her. And it went on. Okay. I tried it, and she made a fist, and I put my finger in, and then I kind of put in my head how that was going to fit with hand wraps. So I told her I'll hold on to these, and I'll roll them up tonight, and I'll put them in a bag and put her name on it, and I'll put them under my pillow. I was gonna hold on to them damn gloves. So then I took a pair to Rhonda's room. I took the glove, I took Rhonda's hand, and I put the gloves in, and Rhonda put her hand in, and 2 fingers went through one hole. Oh. I was like, oh no. Oh hell no. Okay. 2 fingers were not supposed to go through one hole. And that was the smallest glove I had. And right away, I'm like, holy shit. You know, and this was in my head. And she looked at me and she was like, now what? Because she realized. I said, we're going to figure this out. She said, well, when I was doing interviews 2 weeks ago, I told them that they need to get special gloves from me. I told them that. But nobody passed that down to me. So I didn't have it. But I know I just put a pair of gloves on Ronda Rousey that 2 fingers went through 1 hole. Well, man, I cannot tell you. I turned different shades or whatever. Okay. And I walked out of that room and I was like, what the F am I going to? So I went down and I had my guys. I called all my guys together and I'm thinking, I said, somebody got to find me a shoe shop. And they didn't ask why, but they found one. And we went downtown and I had them stitch the side fingers of the gloves so that she could get her hand through. Now, this was on Tuesday. The fight was Saturday. But in the meantime, I called Dana and I told him, I said, we got a problem. We don't have a glove small enough for Ronda Rousey's hand. Of course, he got quiet. And I know he was.
He's probably sitting there. Great. What else is going to happen?
So he got off the phone. He just said, you know what? I'll take care of this. But in the meantime, I took the glove to the shoe store and I had them stitch up the fingers so that when she put the glove on, they would fit. And that's what I was going to use. But somehow, Dana being Dana, he got on that phone and he called somebody. This was Tuesday. Thursday night, I got a special delivery. 6 pairs of gloves. And they fit Ronda. and they fit her. But you know, that was a trip, bro. You put a glove on and 2 fingers go through 1 hole, and you're like, oh, and this was the main event.
That could have went badly.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Crazy times. You got to think. You know, even from where we are then to where we are now. I mean, obviously, she like Khabib took the early exit out. You know, she had other plans in life besides combat sports.
You're breaking up real bad. There's a lot of static.
Yeah. How about now? Are we
That's
clear?
Better, yeah.
Again, here we go with the technology. But like I said, it's been crazy where we come from then to now, both with women's MMA, and even UFC. I think I heard yesterday we're going to see Zupa boxing soon or UFC boxing at some point in time within the next year.
Say it again.
What are your thoughts on Dana and getting in and going to be doing boxing, UFC boxing or Zupa boxing, whatever it's going to be?
Well, you know, Dana came from a boxing background, from what I understood. I don't know that for a fact, but when I met Dana, he either was managing Tito or Randy, or had managed Tito or Randy. Now, I think your question was about UFC getting into boxing, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So I know back then that he was in boxing somehow and had promoted a boxing event or maybe a couple of boxing events. But I knew that he was involved with boxing and always liked boxing. The UFC brand and MMA has gone now to a whole nother level. And I think anything that they put under that banner or under that brand right now would ride the wave of the success that they're having.
I don't think it's good. It's a bad idea, or they won't be successful or anything like that. I guess kind of what we're going to see more MMA fighters, or we're going to see Dana actually go out there and go find boxers to promote. It's kind of the real question.
Well, I think that would be the mistake. I think that the transition of MMA fighters, or to see more MMA fighters go to boxing, would it be 1 week they're fighting MMA and 1 week they're fighting boxing, or Do they go to MMA? Do they go to boxing at the end of their career? You know, I think, just my own personal opinion, you gotta leave the two where they are. And there are enough good boxers there still, because I still see them, and I still know some of them who just don't have the platform. Who just, you know, if it's not top rank or main event, you know, especially here in the United States, there's not a lot of other boxing platforms that they have. The boxers and the talent is there. I've seen MMA fighters go to bare knuckle. We all saw Conor McGregor, which I'm still trying to figure out.
Well, apparently he's going back and he's fighting Pacquiao next. I don't know why, but whatever.
Well, what I'm trying to figure out is how he went 10 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. That still boggles my mind a little bit, that he actually did that. Did he do that, or was Floyd not carrying on? You know, I don't know, but
I think Floyd would play. Honestly, I'm with you, and I think Floyd would carry him. I think if Floyd was being 100% serious, he would have dispatched him within 2 rounds.
I don't think that it would have gone the distance if that was the case. But you know what? You don't know. You don't know. I've seen MMA fighters who, you know, case in point, Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva did not look like somebody that would destroy you. And neither was his style. They called him the Spider probably because the different moves he had. And he was long, but he did not look like he would destroy you. But when you got close enough, that standing leg kick he did on Vitor, and just the way he won, and how, you know, it happened with Chael. You know, he didn't look like that guy, but he was that guy. So you don't always know whether a guy is putting it on full or not, just because of the way it looks. But I was surprised to see Floyd and Conor go 10 rounds. If they keep those two separately, but maybe promote them under the same banner or some way, you know. But to mix it, I don't think that's a good idea. That's just my own personal opinion.
I'm with you on that one. I just think Dana's trying to lessen the opportunities of fighters being able to have fights outside of what's going on in the UFC.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, he's at a point now and in a world now where he can do just about anything, because right now it's his world. When I say his, meaning that MMA is the fastest growing sport, and right now probably the biggest sport, because everybody watches MMA and UFC. Everybody knows what it is. So, you know, it's like anything. You got to fight it when you're hot. You take all the fights you can. You know, you fight the best, and you get the money when you can get it. And right now, the wave that they're on, and you know what, to do what they did through this horrible disease and this horrible time that we're going through, I think was pretty phenomenal without missing a beat, and to give us quality fights like what they did tonight. That was pretty impressive. Even though, if you look back at the tough finale, was it, or that series, that was done without a crowd. That's it. Was the tough, right? Was it the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, Ultimate Fighter.
A lot of the Ultimate Fighter they did recently was always done in like the training facility up until the finale. So yeah.
Okay, so early on and at the beginning, it was done with no crowd. It was done
Nothing.
with just trainers and stuff around. So you know, it just kind of went full circle. But I think as a guy that worked in both sports, I think they need to leave both of them where they are.
I think they could both coincide and do whatever they need to do. I just think promoters need to stop thinking of these fighters like, okay, you fight MMA, you can't fight anything else anywhere else for any other. That's just the one thing I don't like about the sport. I have an issue with. We'll argue about this until the cows come home when it comes to politics about that in MMA.
I totally. I mean, I agree with you, but I've seen that. I mean, boxing and it's like when fighters, stick around longer than everybody else thinks they should, and everybody else ain't got no business making that decision for them. When it's time for you to go. Okay, when you don't have it anymore. And sometimes it takes an ass whooping to realize that that you don't have it anymore.
I think a lot of things is people tend to forget that with MMA, it has so many similarities. Like especially when you look at wrestling, it's one of the things that the growth of both of those, whether you talk sports entertainment and MMA, those crowds are kind of the similar thing. So it's kind of interesting because you have those parallels where boxing kind of, I think it's almost kind of like two different planes. If you really ask me.
It's the one thing that my personal opinion, in boxing, you either win by decision or you win by knockout. That's two ways. You win by decision or you win by knockout. In MMA, now tell me if I'm wrong, you got more than 20 ways to win a fight. Okay?
Pretty much.
You got at least 20 different moves or more to win a fight. And I don't care how old you are. You get a guy on the ground and you submit him to one or you commit to one of those moves, you're going to win that fight. So, but, today guys there's more stand up and these guys rather have you stand up and then beat you with their fist than the other stuff that goes on in MMA. But there are so many different ways to win in a fight in MMA. Randy Couture fought. Everybody thought he fought past his years or longer than he should have. He knew when to quit. And you know what? If Randy got you on the ground, I don't care if you was 18 or 28 and he was 98. If he got you on the ground,
well, there was only one person that was able to kind of weather that one was Brock, right?
Huh?
I said the only one he had problems getting from underneath was Brock because he couldn't miss them ham hocks.
he couldn't he couldn't get from under it. But just overall, I just think that there's just so many different ways.
Yeah, there is.
To win in a fight that's a hard call to say that a guy. Now, if a guy stands up and he takes a beating standing up, yes. And he's used to taking that. I can't think of too many MMA fighters that lost a lot of their fights standing up.
It's always one of other things. You get a handful of decisions that could probably go either way when it comes to things like that. You had a bad night, you got caught in a bad position, got caught in a submission, etc. There's so many different ways, avenues, etc. Which is why you have to be even more impressive that Khabib's walking away at 29-0.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I'll give him a year. I'm
with you there. If he makes it past 16 months, I might say it's for good.
So he actually said in an interview post-fight.
At the same time, the one thing you never, ever, ever forget as an athlete is when you're undefeated. That means nobody ever beat you. So in your mind, that means nobody can beat you. So
ego gets in the way sometimes.
You sit back and you watch the things that are going on in the competition, and in your head, you're like, you know what? I can still do this. I'm looking at the best of whatever, and I can still do this. So, you know, it'll be a while, but again, so many different ways to win it. You know, that fight with Chael and Anderson, when Chael beat him the first 2 rounds and had him beat till 5 minutes or I mean,
I think it was like 5:43 or 4:43 left in that last round. He gets caught in the triangle. It's for nothing.
He flipped that shit around with one of them 20 ways. Okay, so you know, who knows
now. One more thing before we get ready to wrap it up. You know, I know a lot of GOAT talk gets thrown around all of our sports, regardless we're talking the NFL, NBA, etc. It gets thrown a lot here in MMA. We're also getting to the point now where some of these champions are looking for new challengers in other divisions. What do you see what's going on with John Jones? Do you see him making a run at heavyweight? And do you see him and Izzy ever really kind of getting on the same page and having that fight?
One thing, first of all, I think John Jones could transition to heavyweight. I mean, he's tall enough, he's big enough. I think he kept his weight down to where it was because that was the division that he was fighting in. Have you ever seen his 2 brothers, his family?
Yeah, they're freaking massive men.
they're all big guys. So he's
the run. He's the run.
Yeah. Yes. So it's natural for him to get bigger and to transition into that and into a heavyweight. And I can see him doing that pretty easily because of his fighting style and the way he fights and his body, you know, is just a matter of putting on weight. And, you know, I think he's been around long enough with the things that he has accomplished inside the octagon. I think he's entitled to do whatever his head tells him to do with those things that he's accomplished in his time in the octagon. You know, and his star power hasn't gone anyplace. That's still there. His skill level, I haven't seen him fight in a while, but every time, I mean, his last fight, he came back from a 1.5 year layoff, correct?
Yeah, it was a long layoff. I think he looked worse in this layoff than he did the last time he had some time away. But yeah, he didn't look great this one time back, but also then you turn around and now you're going to go up to heavyweight. It's kind of interesting to see what happens then.
And again, you know, I mean, the heavyweight division from experience, you know, Stipe is the champion and a very experienced champion. And, you know, not to say the wrong things, but you know, everybody else in that division, you know, needs a little more experience. You know, it's a thing with getting experience and time in. John Jones would take that experience. You know, he's gonna be able to stand around. Sometimes when the lights go on, some people's lights go out.
John's don't. And John usually steps up to the plate, so I mean, I think he might have a good run there. It'd be interesting to see how it all plays out. How long Stipe stays around? Because I mean, I think if he wants to make that run legitimate, he has to take it from Stipe.
Yeah, and Stipe is legitimate, bro.
He is. He is the legitimate heavyweight champion. You know, he paid his dues. He's fought the best in the world. Junior Dos Santos, all them guys. He's beaten them all. He's beaten Daniel Cormier. So, yeah, Stipe Miocic is the man when it comes to the heavyweight division in the UFC.
Size, talent, strength,
reach. That's the thing. John won't have that extended reach there. That what makes that fight interesting and fun. Stipe has a wrestling background. He's gritty. He's tough. That fight is fun.
I think that would probably be kind of a tough fight for John. Stipe would, because I also know. I think Stipe took a few shots when he fought Daniel.
Yeah.
So
he's starting to wear that heavyweight division a little bit. So you have to wonder how much longer that chin's going to hold up.
Yeah. But they'll have to see. I wanted to say something. I had said something earlier about putting that belt on Nelson Mandela, and putting that strap around him. And I have photos of my career, photos with John, with George, with Brock. I got photos with everybody that I've ever worked with, more or less. And yesterday I had a photo of myself with Khabib. And I put it on Instagram, but what I did was I didn't want to put it on because there was something crazy going on with the weight. He didn't miss.
Yeah, everyone said he looked like crap, and he thought it was a tough weight cut and everything like that. So,
well, I heard that. So when I put the picture up of me and him, all I said on the picture was, "Weigh-in done, we rolling." So
they probably thought you were there.
Yes. And I got 85 different phone calls and messages.
Why are you there, Burt? What's up? What's going on?
Yes. I was, and still today, I'm trying to figure out a way to fix that. I'm gonna let it go away till Monday. But it was so funny, the calls I got yesterday that thought that I was saying the weigh-in was done. I got everybody good. We rolling. But I used to say that all the time. Weigh-in done. But when I put it out, I wasn't.
I guess we forgot people don't have common sense. They can't put two and two together anymore. But hey.
But that also tells you, when you get on social media, the minute you touch that button, it's a wrap. Okay? It's a wrap.
Absolutely. Burt, before we get ready to wrap it up, my friend, you know how I always do this. Throw it over to you. Anyone you'd like to thank, send some love to, want to shoot out the YouTube again, anyone you want to show some love to, the time is yours.
Well, I just want to, first of all, thank you guys for having me, for giving this another shot, because
man, we got it right this time.
yeah, we got it right. The first time I was gone, but I appreciate you. And anytime, I enjoy you guys. I enjoy talking to you. Anytime you're ready. And anybody that wants to reach out to me, please follow me on social media under Burt Watson for real. Check out my YouTube page, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And believe me, I'll always get back to you. Because this is what we do and why we do it, baby.
Absolutely, Burt. It's always a pleasure, man. You know my number. Hit me up anytime. We'll definitely have you back on here again, talking some more fight stuff, talking some stories, and having some fun.
Oh, always. And them Eagles are in first place. You believe that shit?
Hey, man, we take it how we can get it, right? A win's a win.
All right, baby. Appreciate you, fellas.
All right, bro.
Thank you, Burt.
We'll have you back on. We'll talk some football. We'll talk some fights, all right?
Much love. Anytime.
All right, Burt. You have a good one, brother.
Peace.
Bye, Burt.
All right, everyone. That was Burt Watson. Burt, he's been a man who's been around combat sports for a long time. He's probably forgotten more stories than he remembers to tell us. So, Burt's awesome. Always love catching up with him. Again, great night of fights. Could be, submits Justin Gaethje, retires in the cage. we kind of all touched on that. Also want to send a congratulations to one of our weekly roundup guests. Lauren Murphy was victorious and got her submission victory as well tonight over there on Fight Island. So, hey, man, we our guests from the past month are 3-0, so I'll take it.
It's a good record to have.
Yeah, right. But, talked about a lot so far. Just want to quick touch on some baseball. Riz, again, I know this is not your thing, but
I'm just here. I'm just hanging out.
You're just hanging out. But obviously, we're 3 games in. Dodgers are up 2-1. Tampa Bay Rays is starting to made it look interesting. Do you think the Dodgers are going to run away with this or what?
Here's what I hope, just because I'm that asshole. I want to, and I got some friends that are Dodgers fans, so make sure I send them this clip. I hope that Tampa Bay comes back, wins the whole damn thing. Okay, so they win in the NBA, right? No, sorry, wait, that wasn't Tampa. Who the hell just won?
The Lakers as well. Yeah,
no one cares about them. No, they just won the Stanley Cup. That's what it was.
Tampa Bay.
So, Tampa Bay just won the Stanley Cup. Let them win the World Series. And then, oh, God, it'll pain me, but I think it'll be funny as shit if the Bucks go to the Super Bowl and Tampa takes 3 out of the 4.
That'd be rough.
That would be insane.
That'd be rough. That's a rough thought there, too, because I didn't even think about it because Tampa Bay won, but – yeah, man, that's nuts.
Yes, I am.
3 of the 4.
If they win 3 out of the 4, you just chalk 2020 up to a what the fuck, and you move on with your life.
We're already at that point.
I mean, for the love of God, I'm on the weekly roundup.
Hey, this is 2020. This is what we're doing.
Anything's possible.
This is how crazy this year has gotten, regardless of sports, life, politics, whatever. You don't know what's going to happen. Hey, I'm normally on the other side of the screen, and now I'm on this side of the screen. I don't know what's going on this week.
There, fixed it.
You got it right. There you go.
I've got it right. Shut up. You made me start.
Hey, man.
Hey, I know you're the guest here, but you're doing the intro. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not doing the controls, so why should I do the intro? All right, man. But here, yeah, I'm with you on that. I definitely would prefer to see the Tampa Rays do it. Not for that reason, just because if you're any real baseball fan, you don't want the freaking Dodgers to win the World.
You don't, especially living in Houston, like I do. You don't want the Dodgers to win because then the conversation starts of should they have won years ago when it was against the Astros, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing about Astros.
You could have heard Zach, man. Zach wanted you guys to stick it to Major League Baseball like nobody's ever done.
Everybody did. Everybody in this city, everybody in this state were like, hey, you go do you. Stick it to them. And it would have been perfect. I would have loved it.
But I mean, that's another reason why I could also see you rooting for the Rays because, hey, we were starting to get our groove back, and then hey, this team came in there and punched us in the mouth, knocked us out of the playoffs, and they made their trip to the World Series. It's their second team trip. They lost to us the first time. They got to play the Dodgers. We'll see how it plays out. I would like to see the Rays, put together something and at least push just at the very least to 6 games. I could very well see this thing turning around and becoming a 7-game dogfight.
I can too, right? And everything has. Every it seems like it's been such a Cinderella story. Cinderella story is the wrong term to use.
I wouldn't say Cinderella, but still at the same time, it's one of those. They become one of those teams that get in playoffs, and the unknown team that you want to root for.
Well, not even that. That's not even what I'm talking about, right? What I'm referring to, and Cinderella story was the wrong comment to use, but look at all your major games, right? The Stanley Cup went the distance. The NBA Finals went the distance. They're putting on the show. There's somebody in the background controlling it all, right? And they're giving us as much sports as we possibly can handle. but they're at least making it thrilling. Like, for example, the NBA Final. It was a thrilling series to watch, probably post Game 3. Right? Game 1, Game 2, didn't care about. Game 3, okay, we're a little bit more invested. And then we were off to the races, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the Stanley Cup Finals. Again, it was one of those things to where it got better the longer the series went on. I'm a very strong believer in fucking play them all. Play all 7, shut up, just go out there and play. And at the end of it, who won? I truly think that's how it should be, regardless. But again, not the sports guy. This is why I don't do a sports show.
Oh, you do fine, Rich. You've been doing fine today, brother. You be all right.
Said like 15 words, but okay.
Well, that's because you chose to say 15 words.
Look here, Energizer Bunny. You calm down over there.
The
Anthony saying the Dodgers are the Clipper or Lakers of baseball. Ugh. That just makes me.
I mean, you could say the Lakers or whatever, but I don't know.
Well, the Clippers suck too. Lakers suck. I hope Ralph's paying attention. And the Clippers suck. No,
Ralphie's enjoying himself somewhere tonight. I don't know.
Crazy. But I got nothing else.
Yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. I just wanted to kind of touch on a few things again. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate our guest this afternoon, Tommy Polly, Burt Watson. Appreciate this man over here jumping on this afternoon, helping out for Zach as he's umpiring right now. And also make sure you guys are tuning in to all our shows on all the platforms because we got a lot of stuff going on. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube or whatever social media platform you prefer because we're working on some things. And I told you guys during the week that I was working on some stuff, and we got a signed Vinny Paz glove that we're going to be giving away. I got some signed photos here also we're going to be giving away at some point in time before the end of the year. So you don't know when we're going to announce it. You don't know when we're going to give it away. You got to make sure you're locked in. Also, Ritz, I'm going to throw you the floor because obviously going to give you a chance to plug your guys' show as well.
Thank you very much, guys. As you know, last night we did a very special Friday night edition of In This Very Ring. So no In This Very Ring later on this evening. But right before we went on the air, the Universal Predictions ballots, they went live on the In This Very Ring show page, my personal page, and in all the groups that we're in. If you fill out your ballot, you get a chance to come on the show. Now, we're not doing a Halloween show, but November 7th, we'll be back. Butters and I will be back in the studio. Well, this studio. We'll be back to talk Hell in a Cell, Halloween Havoc. And if you win the Hell in a Cell predictions ballot, you're coming on with us. You're going to sit there and talk about all 5 matches and about Hell in a Cell. We'll talk Halloween Havoc. We'll talk all of that. So, guys, make sure you're following the In This Very Ring show page. Make sure you're in the Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics group on Facebook. And make sure you're following everything that we do here at ATD Radio each and every single day. We've got something for everybody. If it isn't clear to you yet, you're clearly new here. Guys, it's either you get on board or you get out of the way. We are the revolution.
The tracks are right here. We're moving forward. You either move or hop on. I'll tell you. Other than that, I got nothing else for you. I will be back here for Halloween. We'll probably be a few hours early. Got to make sure I can take the kiddies out for trick-or-treating. But definitely we'll probably have a couple guests again next week. We're going to keep that a little close to vest. You guys will find out. Make sure you're following all the posts. The guys will let you know what's going on. Other than that, I think this was another fun episode.
Great episode.
Good talk.
We do have to give a shout out to Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Check him out on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com, or his 3 locations at Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. Each and every week, Dr. Paul Vidal and his team and the guys over at Ambuck Services, they are sponsoring everything we do here. So you call Michael Ambrose at 856-879-5530. Tell him that the boys over at HED Radio sent you. They're going to get your gutters and your decks taken care of. Our poll question today was brought to you by Play QB54, the best tailgating game in the business. Make sure you guys are checking them out. Even if we're not tailgating, even if we're not doing anything, it's still the game to have. And guys, if you like this shirt, if you like that hat, if you like to support and rep the stuff that we wear over here each and every week, then there's only one place to go, and that is phillydrinkers.com/A2D radio. The entire fall collection is out. All our show shirts. There's something for everybody. The holidays are coming. What better way than to support your favorite station and get some pretty cool swag for your family, your friends and family, than phillydrinkers.com. Alex and his team do wonderful stuff. Guys, that right there, that man is Stephen Reichel. I am Ritz. This was the weekly roundup. Tell someone you love them. We'll see y'all next week.
Catch you later, guys.